So we're off to find Sandoval in his apartment, and we find Zeke. Hey Zeke, how's it going? Nice to see you. I mean, I was wondering if you'd ever show up again after you gave me that data on... Oh. Oh, you're just a nameless mook now. That's really great. So, Sandoval's apartment connects directly to a secret bunker filled with military anti-augment people just hanging around, which also connects to a sewer, which is eventually connected to Sandoval's high-tech office. And we get a cutscene. Turns out Sandoval couldn't remove the GPLs due to lack of skill, but he managed to change the frequency, thus Pritchard couldn't find it. Being a doctor, he's also a religious man and intends to kill himself, which I believe is the greatest moral sin you can commit in Christianity. Feeling betrayed by Taggart's press conference, as well as being tricked into thinking Megan and her scientists would help in the augmentation crisis, as opposed to being implicated in kidnapping and murder. Like all the other social scenes, this is very well done. The problem is Adam already has the information he requires to progress the plot. At that point, what Sandoval does with himself is his own business. This is simply a dramatic aside. Now, if we had the chance to coerce him into not killing himself so he could tell us about the GPLs, that would be a great use of this social battle. In that respect, this scene forcefully characterizes Adam as a guy who's trying to help people. This is actually a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it, as nothing is stopping Adam from simply walking away. To its credit, Adam does share his reasons for leaving the SWAT team, as revealed from the previous social scene with Wayne Haas, so it does allow more exposition on our gruff, tough human cyborg. We generally care about Sandoval even though he was involved in the premise. This also helps us understand what a passionate fellow the other side of the whole human augmentation debate is like. He's not just some dude with a gun. He's a doctor, he's religious, and a family guy. Contrast that to his little brother Zeke, who apparently just got pushed out of the way just so we could have this scene. I mean, it would have been brilliant if they used Zeke to help influence Sandoval's situation. But alas, Zeke's role stupidly gets pushed to just another mook when he could have been easily a great plot device. Regardless, this is a good scene Adam got caught up in that could have been much, much more, but it's ultimately plot irrelevant. Notice how all the really good scenes involve the dialogue system?
Take the gun. You win.
Listen.
Oh, my inventory's full. So we go back to our apartment to get Malak to fly us back to Seraph Industries for what reason I don't know, and we get this wonderful cutscene of us landing on Seraph Industries. Yeah, we really needed to see that. Malak, for some other reason, then tells us after we've left the chopper that Pritchard's not even here. Okay, but we should go talk to Seraph. Okay, wait, why don't we just call people? What's the problem with calling people before we decide to go anywhere? Well, it does sort of make sense we go to work. After all, it's our job, and there are riots in the streets right outside Seraph, and Adam is the head of security. But would it be nice if Adam made that decision or declaration himself? For some reason, David isn't around, and instead we meet Darrow in his office. The inventor of augmentation. Alright, he's also the creator of Panchaea, and David wants him to invite UN members there so they can convince governments to keep the augmentation industry unregulated. Alright, seems logical. We know Darrow from ambient news sources and know that David has been talking to him. Taggart had his new conference, so it makes sense to have the pro-augmentation camp have theirs. The problem is this. Panchaea is trying to solve global warming. No, really, global warming. Now, I have nothing against having a massive project created solely by augments to present the pinnacle of progress or technological advancement, but we're already introduced AI into the story, so what does having a Babylonic-like tower stretching from the bottom to the Arctic Ocean that may or may not solve the controversial issue of global warming have any relevance to the setting? I don't have a clue. I certainly don't see it. One tower will solve the planet's problem of global warming. What drugs are you on? It might influence the weather, but solve? Maybe a few hundred towers might have some impact. The only reason I can think why this thing exists is since human augmentation is considered controversial, so is global warming. Nowadays, it's called climate change, or however the green liberal media is spinning it. So as much as I find this laughable, putting two controversial subjects together could be done well, although why it's symbolized by a massive technological achievement isn't necessary. I mean, could have been a giant underwater aquarium, amusement park, and that would have been fine. It wouldn't have bothered the plot at all, but hey, you know, global warming, it's evil. Let's solve it through technology. Yeah, that'll paint augments in a whole new light. While we're at it, only cyborgs could have done this. And yeah, this is about 10 times as insane as anything Andrew Ryan might have come up with. He just wanted a city on the ocean floor, not a goddamn tube from top to bottom that's going to solve some liberal environmentalist agenda. So long as he doesn't ask us to kindly beat him to death with his cane, and Adam doesn't magically turn into an augmented Manchurian candidate controlled by windmill or something, I think the story has yet to launch a depth charge on itself. But it's getting really close. So David pops in and says Pritchard found Sevchenko's GPL back in Heng Sha, so we're going back there. Yay, more in-flight bubbly. At this point in the story, Adam has spent, 4 or 5 times as much time in the air than he has on the ground? Is there a bathroom on that chopper? And he's going to fly back eventually, so maybe he'll get some Lambrusco next time. Inside, there's a lot of good ambient conversations and noises. While walking around the office, we can hear the riots outside Seraph Industries. So, we go to Malak to leave, and we end up talking to her.
Pritchard tracks Sevchenko's GPL signal. If he's alive, there's a chance the rest of them are too.
That's a pretty big leap, Jensen.
We've been making big leaps for a while now.
Whatever you say. You ready to get going?
Now, the conversation's good, and I certainly don't mind that the narrative is once again referring to itself and going, what? And there are certainly many instances that's the case, but this isn't one of them. For one, Pritchard located one of the GPLs, which are on a very low frequency, and he discovered it halfway around the planet. There could be loads of reasons he can't locate the others, primarily since they were altered. 2, the scientists were taken hostage, and there'd be no reason those involved wanted to kill them, especially since Megan's the key player. 3, we don't know how GPLs work, whether someone needs to be alive for them to transmit, whether they need external batteries, or whatever. It's safe to assume they didn't destroy Sevchenko's body, so it's safe to guess he's not dead. Adam's comment might be wishful thinking, but a big leap? We don't know what the hostage takers are plotting, aside from them wanting to stop Megan from making augments safe for everyone, or who's alive or dead or why, so we really don't know any other insight into their motives or goals. Now maybe this is just Malak being friendly and realistic after how much he might like Jensen from helping her, and trying to protect him from keeping his hopes up about Megan, but it just seems an odd thing to say, since there are many, many larger leaps in logic that Jensen had already taken, especially the one with Lee's clock. In fact, now would have been a great time for Malak to express her friendship with Jensen more as a result of helping her, considering the next scene, which happens 15 hours later.
Bad news, Spy Boy.
Oh, I guess she is just being friendly. And we're under attack.
Hang on, we're going in hard! Jump, Jensen!
But what if I didn't get the Icarus landing system? Ah, hell, even being a cyborg, is jumping out of a falling airborne vehicle a safe idea? Jensen can die or go game over from jumping from 2 stories. How safe is a jet-powered helicopter from several stories up going to be? Oh wait, silly me, this is a cutscene. So after getting redirected and knocked out of the sky by an EMP missile, Malak starts getting attacked by Bell Tower as she quickly tries to bring her helicopter back online. This is a great scene because Malak is essentially sacrificing herself for Adam to continue the story, even though Adam is saying otherwise. The player has the option of trying to protect her or just getting to the elevator and running off. This is the greatest motivation in the story to become an efficient murder machine, all to protect Malak. I was imagining the Terminator soundtrack as this scene was going on. Though it's not as subtle and as personal as the scene with Wayne Haas, this is the most pulse-pounding one, directly using the main gameplay mode, causing the player to think quickly, depending on their style of play, of course, all to save a side character who is essentially giving herself, all for Adam to continue his quest. Combining narrative and gameplay to create drama is one of the many things gaming should be about, and the outcome is well worth it.
Jensen, the bird's fixed and I'm taking off. Now get on with the damned mission. And thanks, Spy Boy.
Anytime.
Let's also not consider the alternative outcome. So, Bell Tower's still gunning for us. And Pritchard tells us about some glitches we're having, and the World Health Organization says there's a recall about our implants, so we go to Lim, and this person says this.
You here for recall? There is problem with the peripheral nerve interface. We fixed with upgraded chip. You want it, yes?
Do we have one of those? We probably do, but does everyone have a peripheral nerve interface who have augments? How does that work with, I don't know, a leg amputee? No, I'm not all for turning Adam into a walking Swiss Army knife, but this seems a bit sketchy, especially if it's not part of the GUI. Then there's this doctor guy who wants to talk to you about helping a bunch of people who are augmented and very dangerous. This is like a side story, but it has some value. After a very painful conversation, he finally tells us there's Mr. Zelazny, who's very dangerous, who's been killing people. and wants Adam to either turn him in or kill him. Then Hugh Darrow here needs Adam's assistance. Blah, blah, blah. Go see some Asian chick, please, Mr. Jensen. So, yay, another side story that's kind of relevant to Al Gore's dream machine, but not really. So, we meet this Meng Yao who wants Adam to stop some bad guys who don't like Pangaea. But Darrow wants Adam to be not only stealthy, but non-lethal to steal a chip with info from the... I don't know. Okay, so this is just another excuse to have stealthy and non-lethal gameplay in a side story. Yay.